Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Wray's Garage, where today we're going to change the oil, the first oil change on this 2020 Hyundai Palisade that you've never even seen before. So here I'm going to do a review pretty soon, but today let's just get the oil change done. So after a little bit of fun and games, I'm going to do this on ramps today, just because, as I understand the oil pan, it points to the back and it exits out the back. So I feel like if it's on an incline like that, it's only going to help the oil get out. When I fill it and measure, I will do that on the flat surface. So what we're going to need for today's project is some 5W30. I'm using AMSOIL thanks to a recommendation from Vic Sorley out in Texas. You should give him a call, look him up. He works with AMSOIL, so I'm going to give AMSOIL a run on this. This is their XL motor oil. 10 mil socket, got a ratchet, got a cheetah ratchet when I get lazy. And then we have the new filter, which is a Wix filter, also procured from AMSOIL, in this case the WL10033. That comes with the gasket as well as the crush washer for the drain plug itself. I think that the drain plug actually might be a 17 if I'm not mistaken, and the 10 is going to be to get the panel that you'll see under there off of to clear the way so we can get in there. So that's that standard drain pan. And then for the filter, I think the socket's in the 20s, I'll guess maybe 27 for the actual filter housing, but I'll confirm that once we get in there. I have a set here that gets me from 24 to 38, so hopefully somewhere in there we have the right answer. So shouldn't be too big of a job. I think it's 6.75 quarts. So I've got 8 quarts here, probably bonus oil for later, but better more than too little. So let's get down to the meat and potatoes, shall we? First up, let's get these 10s out of the way. Looks like we have a couple of push pins over here. So let me go get a small flathead and we'll get that out of there. Okay. You see here how there's a little split. So if you just poke the screwdriver in here, it'll release it. The stalk frees up these things there and loosens up. Easy when you know how. So that's those two. Just remembering that the silver or aluminum screws here, one at the front and one in the recess here. So now, you can see here we have this Mali filter housing. We have our drain plug, remembering this is 17 millimeters. This one I'm not sure yet, so I'm gonna give that a whirl. And then when we torque back down, 37 foot-pounds, probably, it actually says on here, what is that? 35 newton meters. So yeah, we'll just do it that way. Now let me get the drain pan and set that over here so we can free this oil, and then we'll work on the housing. You can see here on the housing, hopefully, there's a little lip, almost like a spout, it looks like. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. This whole housing is plastic, which is kind of interesting. So we'll release this first, let most of the oil out, and then if I can reach over here and get my catch can to catch it all at once, then we'll release that too. You may notice me not wearing gloves. Don't be like me. Oh, it popped loose, I just couldn't tell. So the oil, the car had a big run today. So I've actually been waiting for it to cool down. So hopefully that's where we're at. Oh man, it's actually a little difficult. I haven't opened the cap up top, so it shouldn't be as effusive as if I did, but There we go. Not too miserable. Actually, quite dark. We're doing this at the, oops, just pulled my light through the oil. Don't do that, kids at home. Surprisingly dirty for 4,000 miles. And that is why we have the infamous blue towel, because now my arm is nicely coated. Let me clean that up. As I'm sure BP will attest, there's no such thing as a small oil spill. Sorry, bad joke. But it's been a while, and it wasn't a COVID joke. You'll be all right. All right. Wait till I get on the election. Okay. Now let's test out the filter housing. Oh, look at that, first time's a charm. That is a 27 millimeter socket there. So I'm going to slide this back over here while that finishes. Hope that I'm in the catching line for this socket over here. See, it's the oil starting to drip out here. Come out a little bit more. And there it is. One thing I will tell you I noticed, and you may have noticed it in the intro, is how oddly small this filter seems, which might explain why the car was asking for what I would consider a relatively low mileage oil change. But nonetheless, no sparklies in there, so that should be all good. So I'll clean that up. We'll go up top here, let these two drip out. We'll come back down, clean these up once we've replaced the new cartridge in this cleaned up housing, as well as replace this. Hopefully you can see that, this gasket, which you can see is right in the middle, which is also something that I've not seen before. Normally you see them tucked up on the lip, but this one's in the middle, so good to pay attention to that too. All right, so here's our filter housing. I have a screwdriver somewhere. So we'll slip that old one off. You see here in our new kit. There's the new ones. This crush washer is oddly stuck. I don't know if you can make out, but see how this head here, this bolt, is painted. It looks like it's not paint on the crush washer. So it's just being a little bit more snug on these threads, which isn't ideal. Of course, my greasy hand's probably not helping here, but still. I'm surprised this crush washer is doing this. Well, you can see it's coming down. So it almost looks like this whole bolt has been painted, which I find kind of bizarre, I have to admit. All right, let's see if let's give this a little clean. So here's just the bolt. I don't know. What do you make of that? I call it a little odd. A new crusher wouldn't on like a charm though, so let's go wipe off that spout under there. Put this back in. Oh no, let's prepare this first. So take some of the old oil. Actually, let's just take some of this fella because it's already here. Just want to lubricate these so they don't bind when you're setting them back in. You want them to not be too dry that they attach themselves to something untoward and break your seal. As a reminder, we're on that middle kind of channel on here. Just do something of a wipe here. Making sure the gasket's still lubricated. And then we'll just pressure fit this in here, give it a pop, and that's rehoused, reseated in there. We're going to insert this underneath as well. So we'll need this 27, taking this for the 17 to put the drain plug back in here. Oh, I'm going to put a little bit of oil in here, just a little to kind of prime it, if you will. But it is a slightly angled filter housing angle, so I'm not going to put a ton in. If they're purely vertical, like in the Porsche, I tend to put it halfway, but this is like a third, just to get the juices flowing. So if you want full, I think it's 37 foot-pounds, but I'm just gonna snug it just to where I feel the crush washer actually give. And then give it a wipe. So we'll give this a good wipe. You definitely want to start this by hand. Cross-threading plastic is probably even more painful than aluminum because I have no idea how you'd rethread that without a lot of expense anyway. Then we switch to our 27 mil. It's 35 Newton meters. And for me, that's just a hair of a push once I feel it's fully threaded. Again, giving a good clean up here. So I'm going to not replace the panel just yet. I'll go up top. We'll refill from the top end. So that's safe. It's got a funnel. One of the other things I forgot to tell you, you'd need this little stubby nose. Nice big mouth at the top. So I spill less. We'll high speed you through here, but I'm sure you get it. You know what? I'm gonna do 6.5. I've got the measuring on this side here, so just gotta make sure we go down to 16 here, thereabouts. And then we'll check, because that might be enough. Might be able to hit it on the nose. Who knows? So, like I mentioned, we're 6.5 quarts deep. And let's see if we can get off these ramps without projectiling them. Oh. You know what will prevent me from doing that? It's when my wife takes the car keys when I'm in the middle of a project. Amanda, you have a car key problem. I'm gonna conduct an intervention. All right, have a key again. Let's see how we do. All right, let's check out this dipstick. Then we can reset the service interval, which is thankfully very straightforward in this particular vehicle. We do not have the same light we had before, so I'll try and bring the dipstick out. The dipstick is, see this Hyundai? Right, just to the left here. Here's our dipper. Obviously, you don't want to read. Just been sitting on the slope. So we'll put this all the way down. Bring it back up. All right, so let's see if we can bring that into focus. But we are above the L and below the F, which is full. And it's dripping backwards, so it's right about here. So I think we're just beneath the midpoint between full and low. I feel like adding this last 8 ounces is the answer. So basically, we've added 7 solid quarts, which is a skosh over what is technically asked for. A clean start. Now we are, so hopefully you can see that. I wish this would focus better, but we're under F. We're about 3/4 of the way between the L and the F. So it was sitting right around this mark. Again, you're probably not going to see it really well. But it was under F right there at 7 quarts for mine. And mine must have had a good evacuation. And remember, part of that was probably attributable to the fact that we had it on an angle. So it was really, gravity was doing some of the work for us, and it probably gave us a really complete emptying. So we'll call the outside stuff good. Replace the belly pan, I'll show you that. And then let's go reset the intervals in here. Okay, so we're gonna reset the service interval. It lives over here in setup, vehicle, not super intuitively. Oh, wrong one. Cluster, we're gonna go into cluster. Service interval. We're gonna enable it. And I'm gonna choose 5,000 miles. Oh, so oops, 5, and it gives you 2 zeros, interesting, okay. So we'll do 5,000 miles and we'll do 12 months if by some miracle we haven't hit that number. And then we'll reset. Yes. All right, folks, well that completes another oil change here at Wray's Garage. Thank you so much for chiming in. If this helped you get your oil changed on your Palisade or maybe even a Kia Telluride, please give a like, maybe even a subscribe if this is the kind of thing that you like to watch. Otherwise, I hope you got what you needed. Be memorable, be well, and I'll see you on another one soon. Ramsey, go to the side in case they spit out. Which part of get out of the way in case they spit out wasn't clear? The reason I know the app exists is because Amanda has locked herself out of her car twice in the last 3 days. But I didn't tell you that. I'll come back, finish this up in a minute, show you the dipstick, how to reset. In the interim, I'm gonna make an angry phone call. You don't need to see that.